Welcome back to In Ohio Country Today. Our feature story this week is David Vandiver. He's the MPS Feed manager at MPS Feed in St. Henry, Ohio. Once again, we'd like to thank our friends at Midwest Electric for their sponsorship, and we'll be back with that story and more this week in Ohio Country Today.
It's just a few steps for tradition, for innovation. A few steps so we can all stay connected and live better lives. And just a few steps for all the Touchstone Energy Cooperative members who got us here. Learn more about the power of your co-op membership.
On the phone with us is David Vandiver. He's the MPS Feed manager at the new MPS Feed plant in beautiful St. Henry, Ohio. David, how does your facility there stack up to other similar facilities across the United States and in your experiences before you came to MPS Feed?
Well, in this facility is one of the largest, perhaps the largest facility east of the Mississippi. Volume-wise, we have a very high capacity, design capacity. We're running at just over half capacity right now, and we're running around. We're clocking at a rate of 575 to 600,000 tons a year right now.
Wow!
So it's a very high capacity. One of the things that I've worked in some high volume plants. I've worked in plants that were even higher volume. This out in the dairy industry out west, but they were even simpler than they were relatively simple plants where we were just processing a single process, not really manufacturing feed. One of the really unique things about this plant is the forethought that was put into MPS Feeds in the design and the business model, so that we are set up to be able to have enough feed bins, enough storage, and enough ingredient bins, and have the right kind of storage that we can then have high-speed systems where we can deliver feed in a short period of time, and then we can spend off time with fewer people filling those bins up in manufacturing. And then we can fill up the ingredients fast enough so that we can run at 600, 700, 800, 100,000 tons a year, yet not have long lines of ingredients, not have people strung out of the lines waiting to get unloaded because there's 5 trucks ahead of them in the pit, and the pit's taking 30 minutes to unload. You know, we're taking 15 or 5 to 15 minutes to unload a truck, depending on what they have, 5 to 7 minutes to load a truck. So we're turning things very rapidly, and that makes it does a lot of things for us. It helps us have a better work environment. It helps us focus on the things that are really important. Making sure we have quality feed, making sure we have a consistent grind. We don't have to worry about trucks and dealing with issues related to having 100 trucks in line. Instead, we can focus on our grind, focus on our mix consistency, focus on dialing in our automation for the ultimate in consistency. That's really what we want is for a bird or any animal, they want that feed to be exactly the same every time. When the feed is different, it throws them off, they eat less, they get unsure. So we want to consistently provide that very accurate mix to get maximum health for the animal.
Let's talk about those ingredients, David. You talked about distiller's grains, and obviously you're using soybean and corn ingredients. Where do all those ingredients come from, and what are those ingredients?
But those are the 3 primary ingredients. We have also dical, or calcium, which is a significant ingredient. The calcium comes from local mines in Indiana and one here in Ohio. We have a very specific type of calcium that we can use in poultry feed. So we're limited there to sources that have the type of calcium we need. There's many other sources of calcium in Ohio, but most of them are not feed grade. They're not the proper grade of calcium, and so they're not really beneficial. So we use all of the available sources within 300 miles for calcium. From the distilleries, we have a relationship with Cardinal, Cargill, with Poet, and really with all of the distilleries within Western Indiana and Eastern Ohio. And we, depending on availability, pricing, we pull from all of them. All of them have similar profiles. We also pull all the corn is locally sourced within Ohio or Eastern Indiana from the Mercer Landmark Network. We're not railing any corn in. We're not bringing it from outside. So we are a corn destination. As we've automated processes, we started out with automated batch processes. automated loading, automated grinding. We just keep adding pieces. The facility here is automated to the point that our orders are entered online on computer. We transfer from one system to another. They automatically load into the computer system, and then all of our feed is automatically loaded onto trucks. This doesn't get us a significantly less amount of people working. Or what it does is it gets our people, like the lady who mans our scale, she doesn't spend her time working a manual balance scale and going out there and running a manual probe. She spends her time doing, and her focus on grading the grain, making sure the grain's the quality we want it to be. Talking to the drivers, having a relationship with the drivers. They all know her. She knows them. We're automated, but we're not impersonal. So we want it to be a good place to work. We want our customers to enjoy coming here. We want our vendors to enjoy coming here. We want them to be able to get in and get out and take care of them, and the whole process be very consistent. This is a very exciting place to be in the feed business because of the potential here and because of the agricultural industry in this area. I think that we will have, we will have this facility filled to capacity, as much capacity as we want in a relatively short period of time, because there is tremendous growth. There is growth in the protein business across the board, and that's kind of where we live. And I think we're going to see growth in the hog industry. We're going to see continued growth in the poultry industry, and I think we have opportunities. I expect fully hope that in the not too distant future we'll be building new facilities to continue to facilitate the growth in this industry.
David, you mentioned trying to find that balance of making sure you have the right quality of product and to make sure that your input costs are as low as possible to maintain efficiencies and to make sure that the product you're producing, of course, is of value to your customers. And part of that is your input cost, and part of that is your relationship with Midwest Electric. Can you briefly talk about how important it is to have that kind of a resource at a facility like yours that has to be running 24/7 and hopefully in the future growing to meet the needs of your customer base?
It's absolutely essential. Electricity is our most vital input. We cannot do anything without electricity. All of the automation, all the computer systems, all those great advances, they all run on electricity. And if we lose power, we are down. We cannot operate manually. It's just not even an option for us. So reliability of that is important. It's more, the cost is important, but more important than that is having a partner, and that's what Midwest has been with us, a partner. I started working with Midwestern almost as soon as I came to work for Mercer Landmark. I was here before the feed mill was finished. And one of the first people I contacted was my Midwest Electric representative. He helped me develop budgets, helped me develop costs, helped me understand how our billing was. We talked about reliability, how we're getting power, how we can maintain power if we have an outage. They proactively already had a plan together and got us involved in how we're going to handle that. So I have a high level of comfort. I know I'm very important to them, not just because I have a big electric bill, but because they are also being cooperative and the member of our community. They're interested in growing the community. When I talk with Midwest, talk about how much money they're going to make or how much they're going to cost us, talk about how we're going to support each other and help each other. That's what we're really looking for. We don't look for vendors and customers. We look for partners, and they've been a great partner.
David Vandiver, MPS Feed Manager at MPS Feed facility in St. Henry, Ohio, has been our guest. Dave, if anybody wants more information about that facility, where do they go?
A great place to go would be mpsfeed.com. You can also go to mercerlandmark.com, and there are links to the MPS Feed. There you can learn about our capabilities. If you're interested in inquiring about feed business here, you can reach out to Mike Dammeyer, the feed division manager, or any of the grain integrators or any of their salespeople. We would certainly be interested in talking with anybody about business. If you're an agriculture group and you'd like to tour the facility, reach out to a grain originator, someone from the grain division, someone from the feed division. We would be happy to set up a tour for young farmers or any of those types of groups. If you're another company who's just interested in seeing it, we would be interested in showing it. We're very proud of it. We don't mind showing it up.
David Vandiver, MPS Feed Manager at MPS Feed in St. Henry, Ohio, has been our guest, courtesy of Midwest Electric. David, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity and appreciate what you guys do for the agricultural industry.
It's just a few steps for tradition, for innovation. A few steps so we can all stay connected and live better lives. And just a few steps for all the Touchstone Energy Cooperative members who got us here. Learn more about the power of your co-op membership